following program comes from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Every athlete is on this quest. Every performer dives in head first, battling real-life challenges and overcoming obstacles in an effort to make their dreams reality. Singer, songwriter, 15-year WWE host Lilian Garcia was the first woman to ever announce WrestleMania. And the first to launch her own podcast, which gives you an all-access pass to the human interest stories of elite athletes and extraordinary entertainers. Now, let's embark on another fascinating journey of chasing glory with your host, Lilian Garcia.
Here it is, the end of 2018. Wow. Welcome, everybody, to Chasing Glory, and welcome to the Best of Show for 2018. So incredible. I can't believe the year is over. What? It just keeps going by faster and faster every single year. But man, when I take a look back at all the things that have happened this year, yeah, there's definitely a lot that has happened even on the show with Chasing Glory, and the move, all these things that have led me to where I am right now. And it's because of all of you too that have come on this ride with me and supported me. So thank you for following me at Lilian Garcia on Instagram and Twitter, and Lilian Garcia official fan page on Facebook. Remember that Lilian is spelled with one L in the middle, Lilian. And thank you for following the show at Chasing Glory Podcast on Instagram, and also on YouTube, youtube.com/Lilian Garcia. We have definitely put the show up there because a lot of people do like to consume from YouTube. And we've also done like our favorite clips from each episode up on YouTube. So there's a lot for you to actually consume there. So welcome, definitely. And thank you for subscribing to the show, for all your reviews. I always love your reviews. We post those on 5-Star Saturdays. And literally, it's amazing to me. But then again, I shouldn't be surprised how affected you guys are with the show. So above all, I want to thank my guest. My guest for 2018, so incredible. You guys are definitely going to be hearing such powerful lessons in this. I definitely want you guys to do me a favor and spread the word about the episode. Make Chasing Glory even bigger in 2019. Thank you for the millions. Literally, I sound like The Rock. The millions. The millions of downloads. It is because of you that there are millions of downloads. And 2019, big things are coming for Chasing Glory. I can't tell you right now, but just know big things are coming for Chasing Glory. And I want you guys to also armor yourself. And what I mean by that is, what changes do you guys want to make for 2019? You know, everybody goes into the beginning of January with New Year's resolutions, and they have all these plans that they want to do. And I think it's wonderful. But have you backed yourself with support? And what I mean by that is, you can literally go, okay, so let's take the number one thing that everybody wants to lose weight, right? Well, not everybody, but most people do. So going into that, what are you going to be doing different in January that you didn't do in December, November, October, all the months previous? Are you going to be getting a trainer to help you out? Are you supplying yourself with online help? There's so many coaching programs. I know Tori Wilson actually has one. Tremendous. There's so many people that are out there ready to help. So are you armoring yourself with that? Are you studying about the best foods for your body? And if you don't think that feeding yourself not just the right foods, but the right quantity makes a difference, you're fooling yourself, because literally it is the food that you feed that will make you feel better and look better. So go into 2019 feeling better. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't have a cheat day here or there. All right. This is all about moderation. So I'm just going into the health part because, like I said, that's the number one thing. But whatever it is, if it's smoking, do some research, find the best programs to help you. There is nothing wrong with everybody leaning on the people that have done it before and learning from them. That is what this world is all about. We got to help each other out. If you're an expert in something and somebody else needs your advice, then supply it. be one of those out there that are helping people out there. And that's what I try to do with the show. With the show, I'm constantly giving you my 2 cents as to what I've learned. And definitely seminars is what I've learned helps. Masterminds help. Books, definitely read every single day. Even if it's just 30 minutes, you'll see what a difference that makes. And if it is something that you want to diet, so read a book about dieting. Like really supply yourself, and less TV, unless you are feeding yourself documentaries or research studies or something like that. I'm not saying you can never watch TV again, okay? Again, moderation. But instead of 4 hours wasted in watching TV and watching reality shows or something that is not going to feed you, definitely consume maybe 45 minutes to an hour of that, and then the rest, definitely let it be something that empowers you, that makes you better, feel better, and then be a light for the rest of the world. All right? So that is my 2 cents going into 2019. And something that has tremendously helped me, that I have to spread the word, and I'm just so proud to actually have them on this show, and that is Four Sigmatic. And some of you have heard me talk about them before, and some of you are like, what the heck is Four Sigmatic? So Four Sigmatic is mushrooms, and it's a superfood. It's a superfood company that specializes in mushroom-based drinks. So what they've done is mushrooms have been shown to be tremendous help in so many things, benefiting your immune system, energy, longevity, helping you live healthier and a more enhanced life. And that's what we're talking about, right? So ever since I started actually drinking the drinks, there's coffee, there's elixirs, there's lemonade, there's hot cacao. Ever since I've tried these products, I'm telling you, things are changing in my body for the better. Because, for example, the chai latte, which is delicious, by the way, that helps your digestive system. Do you know that I have given up? I'm so excited about this. I have been able to get off of 8 medications that I was on. I was exposed to high levels of mold, and I had mold in my body. And I did move, thank God. That was a big plus. If you guys have mold in your house or something, you got to get out. But that's made a big change. And then, like, the chai latte helps your gut. So it has helped with removing all that mold that was in my body. There's something so tremendous going on for the better. I wasn't able to have, I don't believe in like dairy as far as cow's milk, but I know that goat's milk and sheep's milk is actually better for you. And I was never able to have like goat's milk or anything like that at all. Well, over the holidays, I had some and did have like zero reaction. I had zero reaction. And I know that that is because now my gut is a whole lot healthier. So that helps with that. Also helps with sleep, by the way. If you have a hard time sleeping, it has reishi in it. So it definitely calms you. Oh, and it just makes such a big difference. Now, I love coffee. I was only able, though, to have like 2 sips of coffee because I got the jitters. Well, with this coffee, I don't get any jitters whatsoever. And at the same time, gives me clarity in such a way that I'm not jittery. So I'm focused and I'm more creative. My productivity has gone through the roof. They have different types of coffee there. So it's just a lot of fun, actually, to be part of this. Plus, their packaging is so cute. So get it for yourself or get it for a loved one that you know is struggling. And all you have to do is go to foursigmatic.com/glory so that you can get 15% off. So that's FOURSIGMATIC, foursigmatic.com/glory. You have to put the /glory on there to get the 15% off. All right. So go check it out. I think you're going to love them. In fact, I know you will. And you're going to thank me for letting you know about it. And I thank them for sponsoring Chasing Glory. We love our sponsors here because they bring you the show for free. All right. So what do you say? What do you say we get right into this? And remember, if you like somebody's clip of what you hear, make sure you go back and listen to their full episode, because this is just a snippet of all the gems and the lessons that come with it. And of course, we wanted to include every single guest on this show, but unfortunately, because of the transition of the podcast, I just didn't have access to some of the episodes any longer. So it is what it is. You know what? But they are still available up there wherever you get all your podcasts. And don't forget that Chasing Glory has its own app. All the episodes are there. It's so easy. Just download the Chasing Glory app. Okay, I'm not going to keep you in suspense any longer. Without further ado, here is the best of Chasing Glory for 2018. And we start with none other than Stephanie McMahon. I do want to ask you this, though, because we were saying you were born into this business, and some people think that, yeah, of course, the perception could be that you've had it easy, that this has been handed to you, all of that. Even them knowing that you probably had these jobs, they're like, well, yeah, she got the opportunity. Can you let us in a little bit of some of the struggles that you've gone through?
Sure. Let's just say that I've had more opportunities than I would have ever had, I think, because of, my family and because I was born into this business. Absolutely. There's no denying that, but that doesn't make it any easier. From Vince McMahon's perspective, especially, you have to earn it even more because you're his child. You have to be better than everybody else, and he puts you to that test every single day. I've almost been fired numerous times. It hasn't always been pretty. I had to learn a lot along the way, and I've made a lot of mistakes along the way. And I think that the only way you truly grow and get better is by making mistakes. But as Vince says, you can make mistakes, just don't make the same mistake twice, which I think is pretty important.
Yeah.
And I remember even from a performer standpoint, my brother and I were actually out in the ring. It was right around the time that my character had purchased ECW, and we were in Boston. And it was on SmackDown when SmackDown was still taped. And we had a promo segment and went out there, and apparently it was just not at all what my father wanted, and we came back, and he sent us back out there in front of the crowd.
I remember that.
to redo it, and it was like, wow, really? And I think there was other talent involved. I mean, it was so embarrassing, right?
Yeah.
And we're not the first, performers to have Vince do that to. And quite frankly, it was one of the best learning experiences I've ever had, because we had the opportunity to do it again and get it right. And talk about, humbling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It actually was so hard to recover from. And here was one of the greatest lessons, because then that wasn't the only thing I had to do in the show. I had to go, do some backstage vignettes and different things. And I was shaken to my core, because I really, thought that I had done the right thing, done what he wanted. And to find out I was so off really shook my confidence. And he said, Steph, you've got to suck it up. You've got to be a professional now. You made a mistake. That's fine. Learn from it. You corrected it. Now go be a pro. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to go do. And those are just some very small examples. But, yeah, I think maybe growing up the boss's daughter, it sounds like it's a piece of cake. But growing up Vince McMahon's daughter is entirely different.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hindsight being 20/20, looking back, I still don't know. I just know that I was able to, take steps towards, even as I was a shy kid, Lilian, don't get me wrong, that was with respect to meeting different people or trying to order my food on the phone at Dairy Queen, and my sister would make the call for me. Hey man, when it came down to athletics or playing in the yard, I was still out there trying to kick somebody's ass. I mean, so athletics were kind of an outlet for me to, not to say to get my stuff in on people. That was just where I really felt at home and at comfort. And so just being a shy kid, I mean, like I said, it didn't make me a wallflower. I still went out there. If I was competing, I did my thing. And, but I was a pretty quiet kid, and then it kind of turned into a class clown, and, well, I mean, I'm not a stand-up comedian, but I can be pretty funny.
Yes.
If I get on a roll. So I was that guy, and so I don't know. One thing led to another, and hell, here I am all these years later, and I overcame it. But still, I mean, I don't go out of my way to meet people. I'm appreciative when they say, "Hey, man, you helped me get through high school, or you helped me through some hard times," or they live vicariously through those stone cold, storylines. That's really cool to hear that I could be, the strength or something that helped kids, and who are maybe like I was.
The phenomenal AJ Styles. You've done so much. Is there something that you go, I haven't done this yet, I got to do this?
Oh, wow. There has been something I was thinking about. It would be really cool. I'd love to have that. Like, how WWE, we have 2K19 coming out, the video game. I think, wow, that'd be really cool I'm such a video game player.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You do.
And to be on a video game.
Yeah.
I was just.
Like on the cover you're talking about.
Cover, like the cover. But to be in a video game was a goal I set. And to be on the cover, oh, wow. That's something I've been thinking about. Now, it's not going to destroy me if I'm not. I'm not even going to be taken back by it if I weren't. I don't even know if it's even being discussed. I'm just saying it'd be cool.
Yeah, it's nice to have that and nice to put that on the bucket list.
Yeah, it's a bucket list. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, what do you tell people? For example, some people literally think, and some superstars feel the same way, that if they don't get the championship, that means they haven't made it, or that means that they're not worthy, or they're not good enough. A lot of different emotions go through them.
So a lot of new talent that come up into the WWE, they think they have to do something even bigger to make it, or do something that maybe they never done before, take some more risks that they haven't taken before. I'm like, whoa. You don't have to do that. You don't understand. You're in the WWE now. You've made it. This is it. It doesn't get any bigger than this. Do what you do best. And then if you feel like there's a safe way to implement something, then do that then, and make it count when you do it. Don't just throw it away because you think you got to get this fan at this show or that show. Make it count where everybody sees it. And, but it doesn't get bigger than the WWE. I don't care what anybody says. It's huge here.
Yeah.
You have made it. There are more pro athletes in baseball, football, hockey, basketball than there are WWE performers. And so once you make it here, you've accomplished something huge.
Wow. I never saw it that way. As far as you're right, the odds.
It's not easy.
The odds are not stacked in your favor.
Not at all. You're better off trying to be a professional something else than you are. WWE on the WWE roster.
Yeah. Alexa Bliss. You sharing your story. Since you did, you spoke so well about it, ended up on Total Divas as you and I were, talking about it. What has that done for you for having the platform that you have?
Oh man, it's been incredible. There's actually a situation at that same Comic-Con this weekend. This past weekend, there was a girl who came up to me, and I feel like it's given people the comfort to speak out, because I feel like, I know I talk about it all the time, but body issue, insecurity, online bullying, it's a thing, people go through it. And, I'm sure at some point people are going to be sick of hearing me talk about it, but I'm going to keep talking about it.
No, it's fine. It needs to be talked about.
And there was this girl who came up to us, me and Aaron. I was doing my signing and Aaron was standing in the back with me hanging out. And this girl comes up and she says, "Hey, do you have any advice for me? I'm having trouble eating." And she said, "I'm dealing with anorexia." And, I gave her some advice. I said, "I know it's hard. I know it's tough, but you have to eat. You have to," which is the worst thing you could ever tell someone with an eating disorder, eat. But I said, "I know it's scary, but if you take that first step, it gets easier. And you have to treat your body as, a temple. You only get one of them, and you need to help yourself. No one's going to be able to help you until you want to help yourself." And the girl walks away. And Erin comes up to me and she goes, "I really feel like I need to go talk to her." And I was like, "Yeah, go talk to her." And Erin chased this girl down, and she was like, "I was best friends with Lexi, when she was going through all this," and they exchanged Instagrams. And she was like, "If you ever need any, motivation or inspiration or someone to talk to, I'm here to listen." And that's what's so great about her too, is that she can be the voice as well, that I can't be in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like she can give another perspective. Exactly. And just because she's like, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you. And so to see that was amazing, because Erin doesn't know this girl, and she just went up to her and she's like, I feel like I need to talk to her. Because Erin's so sensitive to it as well, because we went through it together.
Jay Shetty.
With the judgment, how the heck, when you want to share a story, let's say you have your own personal story or a personal thing that you've learned, a decision that you haven't made that's really wise or good, but you want to share that, but you're scared to get judged. I've had a lot of people that are on my show that have come out and then they're like, you know what, I'm tired of hiding and this is who I am, but I know I'm going to get judged for it now. But that there's some that are scared to even share that. What would you say to those that are scared to get judged?
I'd say that you're right. Everyone's going to get judged. Like, there's no one on the planet who's never been judged, even if they were trying to do the most noble thing in the world. So the best people on the planet have been judged. The quote-unquote worst people on the planet have been judged. Everyone's going to get judged. So you're never going to avoid judgment. Even if you don't say anything, you're going to get judged.
Yeah, true.
There was an interview the other day where David Beckham was asked about relationships. And he talked about how relationships are hard work. And the next day in the news, all of the things read, David Beckham says that his marriage is hard work.
Oh, man.
And it was just, he didn't say that at all. And it was totally twisted. So my point is, and I actually think he's making a good point. Relationships are hard work.
Yeah, I've been married together for 14 years, trust me.
Exactly, yeah. So what I think he was saying was great. But my point is, whether you say something or you don't, you'll be judged. Whether you share your story or you won't, you'll be judged. So you're going to get judged anyway. So why live for that being a metric of success or failure? Why let the judgment or opinions of others be the reason why you share or you don't? Because guess what? If that person's not paying your bills, if that person's not saving your life, if that person's not giving you coaching, mentorship, and spiritual growth, why does their opinion matter?
Right.
And that's how I've kind of found it in my life to move beyond judgment, is I ask, how important is that individual's judgment? Because sometimes we're our worst enemy. We can go out feeling like we're dressed our best. We hear it from everyone.
Right.
And then the one person that day is either wearing the same thing as you, or that one person says to you, oh, I'm not sure about those shoes and those earrings. They don't work. And then you go home thinking about that one person. So our mind magnifies and amplifies the one thing that doesn't feel right. And we do that in everywhere. So same with judgment. My thing is maximize and amplify the ones that you want to hear. And so for me, I look for expert opinions. If an expert in a particular area agrees, empowers, gives me good feedback, then I value it. If someone's not an expert in a certain area, in my opinion, their judgment is just not important. And that's how I've been able to categorize and provide boundaries to getting good feedback.
Wow.
Seth Rollins.
Me and my tag team partner, we would just go with them and set up the ring and do concessions and, whatever we could to be around the shows and hope that we would get a chance to, make a connection, or we'd bring our gear and think maybe we could get on the show, just whatever it took, And we would we just wanted to be around it. We just loved it.
At that age, when you were going through all of that at the beginning, what was the hardest thing for you? Besides, they're trying to keep down a job and keep down, school at the same time. But in wrestling itself?
I think one of the hardest things was all my friends were in college and doing normal things and, spending their weekends out socializing and partying or whatever. But they were all... from the outside, if you're looking at the outside perspective, just a third party, it seemed like, I was screwing up, or it felt like I was screwing up, because you look at, what a normal path looks like, and it looks like all these people that you went to high school with who were your best friends who are now in college, and they're getting their college degree and they're having so much fun on the weekend. They're going to football games and, this and that. And for me, I'm like, wow, crap, I'm just working a stupid job and living with my parents and not making any money at these wrestling shows, and wrestling in front of 20 people and hurting myself and not making any money, and cars breaking down on the side of the road at 10 in the morning while my friends are, at some party having a great time. So it was just like, it was hard to keep focus and think to yourself that this was a means to an end, as opposed to like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
So like those internal questions of like, okay, maybe I made the wrong decision. How do you get through all this? Like, what's the next step? And at the time you think, oh, it was only a few years. Well, it's not a big deal. Or nothing that now. But at the time, those days pass so slowly.
Yeah.
It just feels like you're waiting forever for whatever break you're going to get, until that happens.
Becky Lynch.
You know what I should say? And the SmackDown Women's Champion. Welcome. Oh my God. How does that feel?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. And I feel a lot more comfortable in the role this time around. Before, maybe there was a sense of apology to it. Yeah. Like, oh, sorry, I'm the champ, guys. Maybe there was a sense of that. And now, I don't know. I'd never had one before, not in WWE.
But you work so hard for that, right?
I did work so hard for it. But it's all an internal game, isn't it, really, with everything. And it was very much an inside job and the crowd wanted me to be the champ at the time. When it was announced, they erupted, calling my name, but there was always, and I don't know what came first, the chicken or the egg, but maybe there was a sense of just me being overly nice in general, just, oh, am I stepping on anyone's toes? Is anyone offended? I think that was the way that I used to be. I was just always such a people pleaser. And I don't know that as hard as I worked, I think I was always worried, like, oh, do I deserve this? Am I good enough to hold this?
Wow.
And now, hell yeah, I am.
I love that. But and you've triggered something that I'm so curious about, because you work so hard for it, then you get the title, and now you're apologizing. So it felt completely different than what you thought it was going to feel.
Yeah, but even I feel like so at that time, I don't know if you remember, but there was Survivor Series and I was the champ. They made Nikki Bella the team captain. Nikki's great and everything like that, but there was still that like, oh, hey guys, I'm the champ,
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I should be the captain. And there was still that, here's the title, but, and I think that was on me, because I think there was that doubt, and I think that could be sensed, there was still that, me being too nice, me walking on eggshells. And I think you got to go in there, you got to own stuff, you really do. You have to own it. You have to believe it, and then everybody else will believe it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I fully did believe it. So that was on me.
Wow. That's powerful.
Charlotte Flair.
I've been in so many great storylines, but the fans are really sinking their teeth into this one.
Yeah.
And you just run with it and you see how far you can take it. And it's exciting, it's fresh, it's new. And even though Becky and I have had the opportunity to wrestle each other, this time the dynamic is different, which makes it even more exciting.
But it hasn't been hard because you also were really, really close friends?
No, I think that makes you hit your friends harder.
Okay.
No, I mean that in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Becky and I came up through NXT together. So in terms of how we view how things should be in the ring and psychology and I know what she does well. She knows what I do well because we've talked about it in the car. So no, I think it makes for a better overall presentation.
Yeah, because, she mentioned how in your rides in the car, you guys spoke about, she was honest with you and told you that there's so many things that you've been able to be on the cover of, so many magazines, the cover of, or just, a lot of press and this and that she wanted that. She wanted that. And you understood that, is what she said.
Mm-hmm.
But now that she really has just gone all out for it, and the thing is, she, is supposed to be a heel on the show, but she's getting cheered, and sometimes you're getting booed. I mean, how is that making you feel?
Honestly,
yeah.
If I was getting a reaction, we'd have a problem. And that's what this is all about. Whether you're being cheered or booed, you're here to make the audience react. And that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as a negative. I look at it as the fans are invested in a story.
I love that. You know why I love that? Because it's funny. I was on the phone. I was talking to Stone Cold the other day, and I was telling him, I said, you know what? This Charlotte-Becky feud reminds me of you and The Rock. How does that feel to even hear that? Like, to me, that's how I'm feeling. I'm even seeing some things online where people are saying that.
Well, one, it's flattering to be, I guess, people are going, oh, it reminds me of one of the greatest feuds of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's very flattering, but I don't know. I guess, yeah. I don't know how. I don't want to sit here and say I don't see myself as The Rock. That's, but I don't see myself as Stone Cold. But no, I do think that with the fan reaction that we're getting, maybe that's why people are saying that, is because it's just these two dominant stars that are going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And the chemistry and the attitude and the presence is why they're saying that.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Aleister Black.
Like I said, I had an interest in the occult, and brought forth by things from my childhood and conversations with my grandfather.
Interesting.
It's just like, sometimes when I have to put under words what made me, I don't even know where to begin sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it was one of those things where I was like, I need to stop reading about this stuff because it's literally terrifying me to death.
Yeah.
I was like 8, 9 years old at the time.
Wow.
And I'm reading about like government conspiracies, and I'm reading about experiments, and I'm reading about hidden documents and like cults and
wow.
Yes, and like all these like weird types of worship and like devil worship, and I'm frightening the hell out of myself with this stuff.
That's a lot to take in.
As an 8, 9-year-old, yeah, that's not, yeah.
Did you ever talk to Drew McIntyre? Because he was talking about how when he was a kid, he wrote into like the FBI. There's certain things that they have to send out, and he literally wanted documents. I don't know if you've ever had this conversation with him, but when I interviewed him, he was talking about how as a kid, he would go to the FBI and he's like, I want these documents, I want this. And they would mail them. They were all blacked out. A lot of things were blacked out. But you guys should have a conversation.
We should definitely have I did not know he did that. But yeah, like in a different context, I was like reading the same stuff. I was...
because he was reading conspiracy things.
Yeah, same. And it just frightened me because it really opens you up to what the human mind is capable of. And if this stuff came out to be true, like what horrible beings human beings are and what they're doing to one another. And it was just frightening. A lot of it was frightening. And I had a vast interest in like ghosts and stuff and like cryptozoology and like it just like every topic that was like not normal. And I say that under quotations, normal.
Right.
It's not like it's a big deal, but if you're 8, 9 years old to like 12, 13, like and you're reading all that stuff, like it has a big impact on you.
Absolutely.
And I had paralyzing fear as a kid. I couldn't watch horror movies, nothing. And
I still can't watch horror movies. So
I can.
You can now, huh?
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, like, I got so sick of being afraid that I started doing it deliberately and then sitting up straight in my bed at night and go like, come on then. Come on, show yourself, do it. I just started confronting stuff that wasn't there. But just for my own psyche, I was like, I'm proving this to myself that there's nothing wrong with the world. I'm proving to myself that there's nothing to be afraid of. And it worked. And at one point I just had a conversation with myself and I said, like, look, like, you can do two things. You can be frightened for the rest of your life, or you could just kind of, go out there as a brave 13, 14-year-old that I was at the time, and just,
Wow.
face it head on. And that's what I did. And after that, I kind of became, my mind started kind of like calming down to everything. And I started liking, being in the dark more, and I felt more energized at night. And I think that's also kind of where my recluseness comes from, because I'm a pretty big recluse. I like being on my own all the time.
Is it hard to be in the entertainment world? No, feeling like you kind of want to be alone, but you're in the entertainment world.
No, because I can take it for what it is, and I will say that I don't know if this is because I'm very introverted, or because I'm recluse, or because I'm European and we have a different mentality, different way of thinking. Dutch people are different in general.
Yeah. I grew up in Spain, so I get it.
R-Truth.
You got to think about me going back and forth to jail.
Really?
And at the same time, you got this. Oh, yes.
How many times?
Oh, yeah. Let me see. Maybe before I learned my lesson.
Yes.
I would say 4 or 5.
4 times. All right. So each time that you were in there, how long were you in jail?
That's the ticket, right? That's the thing right there. When you don't have to be in there a long time, it's almost like a slap on the hand to you, and you feel like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
I ain't got no problem with going to jail. Or it's I don't know why people look at it like you're so much cooler, or you get so much more cool points when you've been to jail. Like there's not no cool points in there, because there's somebody telling you when to eat, sleep, and poop at all times. Like, so it's I went back and forth. I'm talking about from gun charges to everything, to like just being that guy that didn't know what he was doing out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, didn't belong out there. That guy that lost his way. So that's a lot of reasons why I am today, about being positive to people, and to the youth, and to people that's in high school that's coming out. I was that guy that got out of school. And I remember my coaches telling me, this may be your last time ever playing football. Think of what you want to do. Think of what you want to be the rest of your life. And that went in one of my ear, out the other one, because I had music on my mind. So when that time came, Lilian, I was lost. I remember asking God, what do I do? I don't want to play football. I had injuries. I want to do my music. What do I do? And I chose to go to the streets. That was my choice. And like I said, enough times going back and forth to jail, it started getting longer and longer, because now I started building myself a rap sheet in the criminal system, which people need to learn about. You don't want to have all this stuff, because it follows you the rest of your life. Really? So you got me going back and forth to jail, until I got my big time, when I got busted. And when I got busted, you're talking about doing 13 months now.
Okay.
So, yes. Now, that's a long time to be like, that really changed me. That's what really slowed me down. As a matter of fact, my high school football coach was the one who came and helped me get out of my trouble.
Oh, did he?
And yes, he was very, very, very involved with our lives. My football team, he was very involved with our lives, as a coach should be. He treated us like we were his kids, like disciplining us, telling us right from wrong, not sugarcoating it. And I think he had awareness, because he had a lot of cop friends that knew what I was doing. But I was already out of high school. I would see him here and there. He knew what I was doing, but he never would say anything. But when I was downtown behind those bars, my football coach came down there, bailed me out, and he talked to me, him and the officer that busted me, and like 4 or 5 more police officers. And that was the talk that I needed to have.
Wow.
And they pretty much told me I need to get my life together, that I wasn't going to make it on the streets. My name was all over the streets as far as what I do, what I have, what I can get. And I didn't want to have that life, that drugs was out there for a reason. It's not for me to sell. It's for me to get caught with. I mean, I had a long talk with them, Lilian, that pretty much woke my ass up.
Jinder Mahal.
If it's something that I already knew, like if it's a mistake that I've already made in the past and I'm doing it again, it's an L. But definitely you learn from all the mistakes you make, and everybody's going to make mistakes. I made plenty of them, and I don't really have any regrets, because it's gotten to me where I am today, and I'm very happy with where I am today. But it's nowhere near where I have planned for myself to go to. And I know, obviously, everybody has their trials and tribulations, but I believe I had a huge learning experience from when I got released in 2014.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
a lot of people can get released here, and I've seen it, right?
Yeah.
They get released here, and then that's it. They give up.
Yeah. So I knew I had a good shot at coming back because I was very young when I got signed. I got signed when I was 22. I was on SmackDown TV when I was 24.
Wow.
And I got released when I was 27. And I came back when I was 29. So which a lot of people don't even get signed till they're my age right now. Right. So I was fortunate enough. I already have all this experience and experience from making mistakes, not only in ring experience, but life experience now. That was one thing that I lacked because I literally went from college straight to WWE. Like I didn't have a real life ever. I've never had to work. I never had to face real life. So I've been very fortunate, very lucky, but also I miss learning a lot of lessons. Yeah. So the lessons that people mistake, the lessons are the mistakes people make in their day-to-day jobs. I was making those mistakes in WWE, but fortunate enough, I was given a second opportunity. So when I got released, I had obviously a lot of regrets. I felt like I didn't give it my all because near the end, especially at 3MB, like I stopped caring, which is like the biggest mistake ever.
Why did you stop caring?
It was just my thinking, like I was playing the blame game, like, oh, I don't have a good storyline or something like that. Like, oh, we're just, I would dread coming to TV because I was going to be doing something I didn't want to be doing. But I was doing that because I was in the position that I was in. It was because of me. I said this recently too in an interview. Every WWE superstar is 100% in charge of their career, where it goes, whether they're in the main event or the opening match or getting released or coming back. You are 100% in control of everything. I also said this, like a lot of people say, like, oh, you got to push. No, I didn't get a push. I made my own push.
Yeah.
Sting. What would you say, like during that time, were things clicking for you, or were you ever going, what the hell am I doing now? I've gotten into this, and is this what I want to do?
Oh man, there was one day, my wife, who is now my ex-wife, she finally came out to be with me, and we had two shows, a matinee show and a night show. I don't know what time of year it was. I can't remember. It was not winter. I remember that. And we were in Lake Charles that day, and we were in Lafayette that night, or vice versa. I can't remember which one is, they're both off I-10 in Louisiana. And so we drove to the first one, did the matinee show. I had her with me. And the second show, you had to head west on I-10, 90 miles to get to the next show. And I said, man, I was just depressed, man. I mean, there's no money and, it wasn't going anywhere. And it was just I was a little embarrassed about what was going on and, with my life. And it's like, I mean, this is what a choice, what a decision. What did I do with my life? I'm going to be the laughing stock of my town, and everyone's going to say, what happened with him? And so I said, man, if we just keep driving on Interstate 10, we'll be home in a couple of days.
Oh, wow.
And she, I mean, if she'd have said, let's go, let's get out of here, I would have been gone. I mean, I was done. I was ready. I was going to walk away from it. And she said, man, you've come this far. Don't go home now with your tail between your legs,
Paige, how's it been for you since? Because the women's evolution has taken off so much, and with all the Royal Rumble, the ladder match, of this, of that, now the first women's ever pay-per-view. I mean, I see you as a general manager. You're killing it, by the way. You're absolutely killing it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we'll talk further about that.
Thanks, babe.
But how does it feel to continue to see these, these superstars, these female superstars, just having their opportunity of their first, and you're not able to because of the injury?
It makes me really sad, obviously, because, I love wrestling. Wrestling's in my blood. It's in my life completely. So it does make me really sad. But at the same time, like, I can't help but be happy for everybody, because I'm like, I still get to be a part of it. Yeah. Whether I'll be on commentary, whether I'll be doing just the GM stuff, I get to watch it, and I know that it was me and a few others that helped kickstart this whole thing in the first place,
Yeah.
So I'm happy, but it's kind of a bittersweet thing. But there's nothing I can do about it. I can't get back in the ring, so why do I dwell on it? Why do I have to be sad constantly? I have to constantly be positive, you know?
So what has helped you get through that, though? Because, Paige, if somebody told me that I could never sing again, I don't know how I would handle it. And so for anybody out there that has a dream that they get told, I mean, there's many football players that's their dream, and then they get injured and told you can't ever, play again. Or like I said, musicians, I know some musicians that play guitar and then something happens to their hand. What do you say to them, to me, or to anybody out there that would have that and, could get through it?
Honestly, it's just trying to be as strong as you possibly can, because at the same time, you can't change anything. You have something like taken away from you without, or like kind of forced on you, right? Like it's something that you just can't do it anymore. You're not allowed to do it anymore because you'll get hell, you do this, you do that, or it cause you trouble. So it's really hard because everyone reacts differently. I know I was really freaking upset about it and I cried every single day. But in my head, all I was thinking about is like, okay, if I can't do this, what can I do next? You know? Mm-hmm. Like I can't just sit here and be sad and be like, okay, like I say, dwell on something that I can't change. So I'm just like, okay, I need to set more different goals, which is the same as what I told you before, what Dwayne told me, The Rook, right? Yeah. He was like, stay humble and hungry, because you always want to set goals. Like you always want to be humble because you want people to work with you, but you always have to be hungry. You always have to set goals. You can't be complacent. So if I just sit here and be like, well, I can't wrestle anymore, so what am I going to do? Like, who cares? No, I'm like, okay, like this is taking me down a different path, and so you just have to think about it.
Saraya Knight.
As soon as I feel any danger around me whatsoever, I come out fighting. Mm-hmm. I think it has molded me. I have to be in control of everything I do and everything those that around me do. And it sounds really, really bad, but I have to know their next move before they make it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm very, very conditioned now. But
that's explainable.
Yeah, there is stuff that's made me the way I am today. But I think the difference between the fear and the anxiety and just being petrified every day of my life from the age of 8 to being at 18 and all of a sudden finding somebody that broke every mold that I had of people in general and how nasty and sexualized and everything that they are, to find somebody that put their arm around me and say, look, you'll be safe. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want anything from me. I mean, he waited until I was ready to have sex. Once he realized my story, he was awesome, like absolutely awesome. Everything was taken slow. He asked me to marry him straight away, and he's kept his promise to me, that nothing would ever happen like that to me again. And, I can honestly, hand on heart, say that whenever Rick is around me, I feel more safe than anything. But there's still certain aspects of my childhood that will always live with me, and it shaped and molded me. And I don't for the life of me know how I'm here with you today, telling you about it as if it's a story without a tear, without any anger, without anything. I think I'm not going to feel guilty for other people's sins. I'm not. Everything that happened to me was somebody else's choice.
Right.
I was part and parcel of that choice, but I did not have a choice. And I am not going to spend my life regretting what I could have, should, or would have done. At the time, I couldn't do anything about it. There was nothing in my life that could have made it stop. It was the card that I was dealt. And once I realized that, I did take my stepfather to court. I did get him done. Oh, really? I still have the paperwork. Yeah, he got arrested for it, and, he got charged with it and everything. So, and he admitted it. He actually admitted it. He held his hands up to it and said, yes, I did do it. So, there's a resolution for everything. And I remember earlier on you said that you believe that every cloud has a silver lining. Well, even the darkest cloud has got the silver lining. And I am living proof that it doesn't matter how bad things get and how lost you feel. There is always a way you can stand up. But you've got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
There's no magic cure out there. You've just got to like, suck it up, princess. And I always say, chin up, tits out. Show the world that it doesn't bother you, even if it does. You know, and that's how I've lived my life. That's how I've done it.
Zelina Vega.
That's when I felt like my consciousness came out of my body. Like I felt like I was watching everything rather than being in my body.
Right.
You know. So she turns on the TV and I'm seeing what's going on. I thought it was a movie at first. And I'm looking at it and I'm looking at her and I don't quite get what's going on. And then she used to work in the World Trade Center. So she's like, okay, well, why can't you just go on this staircase and do this? And he's like, I can't. They're not letting us out of here. Like, we need to find this way. So I'm hearing him and I'm hearing her and I hear him start to cough more. And then he said something like, okay, we're going to try and break this window. Unfortunately, like, oxygen feeds the fire, and I don't think that they got that at that point. So I heard the glass shattering, and then the coughing got more and more and more. And he said to her, to my mother, like, they kept swapping on the phone with my stepfather and my mom. And when he got into the phone with my stepdad, he said, I honestly, Kermit, I really don't think I'm going to make it out of here. I need you to be, he's like, I know you're a great man. I need you to be a father to my kids.
Oh, my God.
He said, love them like I would. And he said, Michael, it's an honor. I absolutely will. And then he got back on the phone with my mom and he said, Monique, I'm not going to make it out. I need you to tell the kids how much I love them. And she's like, no, you're going to tell them yourself. You're going to get out of here. You're going to get out. And he's like, no, listen to me. And he was the calm one in this scenario. Like, he said, tell them I love them. He said, and for you, he said, I know that we had a crazy life together, but I've always loved you and I'm always going to love you. And I'm so sorry for everything. And she just started crying and like losing it. And I felt like in that moment, I could have said something. I could have said, let me talk to him. But I also know now that if I would have done that, he probably would have lost it.
Oh, yeah. For
so
sure.
it was best that
And you were
that
probably in shock.
I was. I couldn't
Totally.
speak. I couldn't speak. I was looking at the TV and I was like, my dad's in there? Like, he's in there?
Right.
And my mom was like, Michael, I love you. He said something like, because they were looking for cables alongside of the building to try and like get out that
crawl
way.
down or something.
But yeah, and then the line cut off. I believe it was at 9:14 a.m. I think it was 9:14.
Was he in the first tower or the second tower?
He was the one with the point on top.
But is that the first one that went down, or the second one?
I believe it was the second one that went down.
Okay.
And when the line cut off, we went downstairs and we put it on there and we're just watching because we didn't think the buildings were going to come down.
Right.
And when it did, I think even that, I'm holding my baby brother at the time and I'm like, I cannot believe this right now. Like, I was in complete shock. But again, I felt like I was watching it.
Right.
I didn't feel like I was in my body. And I was like, I should have said something. I should have at least told him, like, Dad, I love you, or something.
You were saying that right? I mean, you were thinking that right then?
And yeah, because I knew. I was like, I know something is going on. And, you know, afterwards they showed, mind you, my aunt is also, she was in the Citibank right next to the World Trade Center. So she had to walk, 7 months pregnant, walk from there all the way back to Queens Village on foot.
Mustafa Ali.
You always hear about police brutality and profiling and this and that. And then I always felt, I had some bad run-ins with law enforcement that I felt were unjustified, where they...
Because of 9/11, you feel?
Not even 9/11 specifically, but just like really weird ways to question something. I got pulled over. I was in the passenger seat, and my friend was just nervous. There's nothing in the car. He was just nervous. He got pulled over. He didn't want to get a ticket.
Right.
And the cops asked him a question, and my friend's stuttering, and he goes, you know, he used some expletives, and he's like, hey, mother effer, do you not speak English?
Oh,
and I had gotten hot about it. I was like, sir, there's no need to talk to him about that. And next thing I know, I was out the car, I was in cuffs. Obviously, nothing happened to her. They let me go, but total, abuse of power at that point, just to send a message to me.
Yeah.
I became a cop because I didn't like that. And I'm a firm believer, like, if you want to see change, you've got to embody the change. Like, if you want police to be respectful and kind and actually serve the people, you protest, I get that creates attention, celebrities talking. You need actual policemen and women that are like that. And I don't know if I was this big dream, like hopefully I could change things. It was a small town outside Chicago, like, but you don't know, you know.
Right.
And I always felt like
I love that you
there's
took
a
the
weird,
initiative.
there's a weird calling to it. I always ask my mom, like, her thoughts. My real name is Adil, and it translates to one who serves justice.
Oh wow!
That's what my name means. I didn't really like look into what my name meant for a long time. So I joined with the intention of trying to be what a cop is supposed to be. That's my intention. Obviously, I get to the police world, I learned their side of things. Again, perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I fully believe all the problems in the world are because we do, this is what I want, and then the other side goes, this is what I want. Well, this is my fear. Well, this is my fear, but there's no communication.
Right.
I've got the unique experience of being a minority in this country as well as a law enforcement, and I can see both sides and where the misunderstanding and the fear comes from.
Yeah.
So I cannot even begin to tell you the way I went about policing. Civilians were like, so I would, if someone's speeding and I pull them over. What's the first thing a cop says when they knock on your door? Do you have any
license,
idea?
please?
Yeah, you have any idea how fast you were going, or let me see your like they don't.
Yeah, right.
Knock on the window, nervously put the window down. I go, sir or ma'am, sir, is everything okay? What do you mean? Is everything okay? I saw you're going a little fast. Is everything fine? Oh, yeah, everything's fine. I was like, I didn't know if you're trying to get somewhere, if there was an emergency or something.
Wow.
So now they go, this guy was asking me if everything is okay.
He didn't assume that I was doing it.
Yeah, I was like, man, you were flying, brother. Everything okay? Hey, man, real quick, just because I pulled you over, I hope everything's fine. I just need to see your driver's license and proof of insurance real quick. Man, I'll get you in and out of here real quick.
Wow.
Automatically de-escalate the situation because some people feel they're pulled over because they're being profiled.
Right.
But when my first question is everything okay? What you mean? Or why are you asking?
Care.
Yeah,
you care. You're coming in at first. Wow. Can you teach all? and I don't want to, I'm the first person too. I don't want to put a blanket statement. I don't think it's fair to put the blanket statement. I do think that there's some crooked cops. I think
absolutely.
Right? But I think there's crooked people. There's crooked in every minority, in every majority, in everything, right?
You ever had a bad experience with a mechanic?
Exactly.
All mechanics,
right.
Yeah.
So that's my point is just because some cops are bad, you can't put a blanket statement that all cops are bad.
Absolutely. But what I am happy is that people are, I'm all for it. Take yourself on it. Accountability is key. I'm glad body cams have come out.
Yes.
I think if you're going to join this profession, and it is a stressful profession that people don't understand, but there should be absolutely zero tolerance for any sort of abuse of power.
Right.
If someone is caught doing their job incorrectly, they shouldn't be doing it.
Drew McIntyre.
You got to kick yourself up the arse, and I'll do it if you want, but you got to find that because it's noticeable if you don't have that fire.
Yeah, it's funny because your story, you're actually one of the lucky ones because you've been on both sides.
Yeah.
So you know what it looks like to not have it and then know what it looks like and what it brings to have the fire, to take care of yourself, to do the sacrifices that you're doing.
Well, if you know what it feels like to earn that opportunity to come back as well.
Like
I was given it at 21. I was very fortunate. Again, like a lot of people say, you're whatever, 6'5" and look like how a WWE superstar should look. And I was like, that's how I got my opportunity in the beginning. That's how I was the chosen one. And then it all disappeared. And then I was 3MB guy. And then I went away. And then I worked harder than everybody. Then I earned that opportunity. And that's why I got the respect in the companies where a lot of the roster are smaller, high flyers. And I was the one big guy. It's because I worked my bollocks off and earned everything that's come my way. And when the time was right and I'd finished my commitments everywhere else and the companies I was working with were self-sufficient, they didn't need me anymore, that's when it was time to come back home to NXT.
You had a conversation with, you told me, with Triple H when he called you.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit on that conversation where you said, that's it, I'm coming?
It really didn't take long. I was out of my contract with TNA. My wife and I were talking about the next step. There's a lot of great places out there, and I thought I kind of knew which direction I wanted to go. And then, William Regal has been a bit of a mentor to me, and always kind of kept an eye on everything I've been doing, giving me advice, suggested just make sure you have a conversation, with Triple H first. And I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And then I spoke to him on the phone, and just he'd been he sees everything. He knows what's going on. He knows what I've been doing, and he could see the difference in me, and was very proud of what I'd achieved. And then we had just a really good talk, and we had a talk as just two grown men rather than the boy that I used to be, kind of nervous around, like himself and especially Vince, barely able to get my words out. We just had a good talk as two people who love the business.
Dolph Ziggler.
We have many coaches at St. Ed's, my high school, and one of them was the women's Olympic coach a couple years before, and he had ties to WWE. He knew Gerald Briscoe. They had wrestled in college together, and he goes, I'm not going to do some favors, but I can take you to a show and I can introduce you to some people, and if they see anything in you, maybe you'll get a tryout one day. And he took me to Monday Night Raw in Cleveland, and we had great seats.
Oh my God,
awesome.
it's your hometown.
Yeah, it was very cool. And I got to go backstage and meet some people. And they go, yeah, kid, one of these days, maybe, in a year or two, we'll have you for a tryout. I go, okay, great. And 3 days later, I had a phone call to go to Ohio Valley Wrestling for a tryout. Yeah, it was very, very exciting.
Oh, wow. And how was that when you got into OVW?
It was for my first tryout was with Bobby Lashley. And,
no way!
Yeah, and I didn't know him at all, but he was an amateur wrestler, much better one than I am. But we met at like the rental car place, and I go, hey, are you Bobby? He goes, yeah, you Nick? Great. So we had a tryout together, and it's the damnedest thing. They decided to hire him and not me. And I go, the whole time I'm sitting there looking at him, I go, I mean, if we're picking here, I'd pick to hire you also. I just finished wrestling 165 at Kent State, and he looked like he's carved out of granite like an action figure. I go, do we have to do the whole week? I'd pick you to stay too. And he goes, hey, it's the weirdest. I got hired. I go, yeah, I know. I did not. But they told me, they go, see if you can put on some weight and get some practice somewhere. So I was taking powdered milk and mixing it with 2% milk and trying to drink it every 2.5 hours.
Seriously?
Just trying to put on a couple pounds. I was really lean I cut a bunch of weight in high school and college, and I was really lean, and I was trying to be a little bit bigger and maybe be almost 200 pounds or something. And I think I just constantly had my stomach sticking out, and it was not worth it for the extra 4 pounds or whatever. And then about 3-4 months later, they like, hey, have you been getting practice? And I said, yep, absolutely. And I lied to them because I was not. I didn't know where to go, but I found someone who was actually at one point in OVW, but now was coaching at Cleveland State in Cleveland where I was. So he rolled around with me a little bit, and we tied up. And I told him that I'd been practicing for weeks and months with this guy, but we just kind of rolled around once or twice. But being such a nerd for wrestling and loving everything about it, and watching it, and going to my high school and taking flat back bumps just on the regular wrestling mats. Right. Because I read in Mick Foley's book that he had jumped over his car and landed on the ground a bunch of times to toughen up his back. So I was taking these bumps on a 1-inch hard rubber mat, just to, maybe I'd be tough and be able to jump up. And it was a bad idea.
I was just going to say, was that a good idea?
Very, very bad idea.
Don't try this at home.
There was 12 half golf balls in my back. But when I went for my tryout, the second time, Lance Storm was there. He had just started teaching, and
Lance, love him.
He's great. He was I was a teacher's pet because I was a fan of his, and I wanted to learn, and I was trying to catch up to everybody because I had not done any independents or anything. I had just been a fan, so I tried to learn everything I could.
So Lance actually mentored you?
Yeah, very much. He had just my first day, not that tryout, but when I got hired, my first day was his first day as the coach, I think.
Bobby Lashley.
And you know what? The biggest thing for me of what I learned was, and it was so simple, but it was so impactful for me. It was I wouldn't even say it was a quote. Someone told me, it says, you know what? The only thing that you should be nervous of is the fact of the anticipation. Because when you have to do something, you're going to have to do it regardless. But the anticipation of it is what kills us. When you sit there and say, oh, shoot. Like the first time when I debuted on SmackDown, I came through and I was not supposed to debut. There was nothing going on, and nothing was on the, I was just one of the OVW guys that were on the road. So they let me go on the road, do a couple house shows, and that was it. I was not supposed to be brought up. And then it goes to TV, and then I was in catering because there was no way I was doing anything. And then somebody said, hey, you have a match tonight. And immediately my heart started racing. I was like, huh? What are you talking about? Not me. I'm not supposed to do it. It was no way. But then when I went over there, I kind of I kind of sat back in the back, and you know what? The person that got me was Paul Heyman. As crazy as this is, he came to talk to me because he mentored me back in OVW. When I was in OVW, he was he was a Ryder there, and he was the one that talked to me, one that got to know me, and he just kind of walked over to me with that little smug little grin that he always has on his face and looked at me, and he goes, "You nervous?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm nervous. What are you talking about? It's 17,000 people here." Of course. And I just started wrestling. And he goes, "You know what?" He said, "The only thing you're really nervous about is the only thing that messes you up is this whole anticipation time." He said, "When they call your name, you're going to have to go out. And I know you're going to do great, and you're going to be excited, and you're going to come back, and you're like, man, why did I kill myself before?" He said, "If you can handle this now, the rest is easy." And I was like, all right, I'm going to listen to this guy. So at that time, like, what I had to take, I used this, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to let the anticipation happen. I'm going to be like, man, I can't wait. Just get me out there. You know, if I had to jump out of a plane, you can just fly it. I'm jumping. I don't need to build that. I just want to do it. Let's go. I want to do it and not get it over with. Like, experience the moment. And then another thing is the thing that I like to talk about a lot is sometimes that moment is over, and then, you know, all that anticipation you built up, it's like a little short blast in time, and then the next day you're gonna be like, damn, all that's over. And you know what I use this a lot with is my fights, my MMA fights. Because you talk about anticipation and being nervous and killing yourself. That is where you kill yourself. The gate closing, signing the contract, looking across the cage at somebody, knowing that nobody's going to break this fight up until it's done. You know, all those different things, like, can really, it can tear you up.
Mojo Rawley.
So talk to me then. How did Maryland end up going in the end of things?
Maryland was actually tough because. So
I know you got on.
I don't know if I should say this, but why not?
Please.
So actually, I wasn't on scholarship my first year. It was a walk-on year. You have to prove yourself. Well, after my first year, you know, it's like starting on some packages. I was playing. Well, I was told that I was going to be on scholarship. And the day before classes start, I get called into a coach's office, and they pretty much say, we were expecting someone to fail out. They didn't. That was going to be your scholarship. We know that you're not going to leave because if you do, you're going to lose your academic credits. There's a rule that states you can only transfer 60 credits. I'm going into my last year. We know you're not going to leave, so we don't have to put you on scholarship. So we're not going to figure out your student loans. All right, get out of my office.
Oh, my Lord.
So I had a day to come up with $35,000 to pay for school after I was told all year I was going to be on. I was probably one of the only players in the entire NCAA that was playing in every game, making plays on national TV, that was paying for school, and it was handled in such a just unprofessional, aggressive way. I mean, that was a dagger for me. Like, that was a big risk I took. So, you know, fast forward after that season, I graduated early. I made sure to do it. And I went into my coach's office. I was starting on every package at the time. And I went into my coach's office. I was like, look, everything you've ever asked me to do, I've done. And I've done it with a smile on my face. Am I on scholarship? He said, maybe. I don't know if we're going to put you on this year, which would have been my last year. So I told him, it's like, I don't know if you know this, but I just graduated. NCAA rule states that I can transfer to another school, go into a graduate program, and not have to sit out a year. So either you put me on scholarship right now, or I'm transferring to UVA, and I'll see you on the field next season.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't like that.
You.
Oh, man, I laid it down.
Good for
that was
you.
years pent up of aggression and just doing all the right things just to have it taken from me, but I laid it out on the table. He had no choice but to put me on scholarship. Again, that's where academics comes into play, being smart. He knew I knew the playbook. Go ahead.
Oh, wow.
Don't put me on. I'm taking that playbook to another team.
Oh, my God.
And I don't like having to do stuff like that, but it was also a first real lesson for me that no one's going to give you anything. You have to take it.
Yeah.
And it
but
worked
you know,
out.
it's not even taking it. It's you've earned it.
You earned it. And because you earned it, you get put in a position where you're just defending yourself. You're defending all your hard work. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if somebody's going to try to take that hard work and say, no, you know what, I've changed my mind, screw you. No,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
not. You have to defend yourself and you have to stand up for yourself. And that's what you did.
Exactly right.
That is awesome.
And it was a pretty good feeling because I had the full support from the entire program, all the staff. They were like, hey, they didn't even know about that situation, but they're like, yeah, I heard he's going to go. You better put him on.
Oh, wow.
And they were speaking in the dark, but, you know.
Once you did that coach, like, was it hard? Did he make it harder for you because you kind of got the upper hand for you that last year?
Well, you know, he did. But honestly, at that point, there was really nothing more he could have done to me because he was already dragging me through the ringer for years. You know, so I'd taken his best shot. And the thing that irritated him the most is he'd get all worked up and I'd smile about it. You know, like he wanted to break me and I knew what he was doing. And you know, he could run me till I was about to pass out or put me in drills with the biggest guys that, you know, kick the crap out of me. It's kind of like that Rudy thing, you know. I'm going to keep smiling. I'm going to keep yelling. I'm going to keep sounding off and letting them know I'm enthusiastic. I'm not going to let them break me.
Rey Mysterio.
It was such a constant letdown to know that my size didn't impress anyone. You know, from wrestling promoters to other wrestlers that were very successful during my childhood as wrestlers. You know, so to know that was like a big, that was like my failure to not becoming who I am now.
Yeah.
That just, it fed me so much positive energy and so much input to work harder and to put in the time to just be who I am now. You know, it just that fueled me up.
I was going to say, how did it fuel you though? Because a lot of people would get deterred by that and they'd give up. What was it that you were like, I'm not going to give up. This is going to be an asset in the long run.
It's just my will and my strong mind to accomplish what I really loved. And it all comes down to that, to what it is that you really want to do, no matter what other people say, and no matter the amount of doors that get shut down in your face. You know, you keep looking and you keep striving, and eventually you're gonna hit that road to success. You know, because you're putting in the work. You know, there's no time to even think about failure, and that's something that I never thought about. As much as people put me down because of my size and my height and my weight, I just never considered that to be an issue to me.
Renee Young.
I think that's important. It's always important to keep growing.
Yes.
Sure. It's
oh my
always
gosh.
Not only keep growing, I mean, because you can get to a point where it just becomes so robotic that all of a sudden, and then you get stuck, right? It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, can I leave?
Yeah, and you know, that's a funny thing that I've noticed too, is I feel like every now and then you start to think, you're like, wait, I'm good at the thing that I do, right? What do I even do? What is this thing that I do?
Yeah.
And you kind of forget, because it's almost, I guess it just becomes a second nature, and all of a sudden you're not really thinking about what you're doing, which can be a great place performance-wise sometimes, but I think it's, you know, you need to have your heart beating that extra little pulse to keep you interested and keep you active. And I've always been, I like to use my brain for my work big time, and whatever that is. So I missed using my brain. Yeah. But I get to when I'm doing panels, and I do get to in different ways, but I feel like there's so much more that I would like to contribute.
Yeah, I can hear it.
But I think that's something. I mean, maybe there's other opportunities down the line. I have been listening to commentary a little bit more and trying to figure out.
I was going to say, because you did do commentary and you did it at NXT.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it at NXT. I didn't love doing it when I was doing it main event, because I felt like doing a two-man booth always kind of stressed me out. that I felt like my strengths of being on commentary is like quick tidbits, quick reactions, sharp little things here and there, but like to provide more of a bulk of this match, I don't really feel like I do it justice.
Yeah.
So being in a 3-man booth and being able to do a little bit more character stuff and flirt with William Regal across the table or whatever that was going to be. It stressed me out more then, but I also was so much newer in the company that I felt like, and I did this to myself, I think, but I felt like I was on such a tightrope about what I can say, what I can do, how I can behave, how I'm supposed to come across it. I was like, who am I? What is this thing that I'm delivering to people? Because this doesn't feel like it's me. I feel like I'm trying to, I just feel like I've had to like rework how I speak, and I can definitely be a little crass, or I can make fun of stuff or in ways that doesn't work here.
Yeah.
So I think now that I've been here long enough and I've been on the panels long enough that I have such a better perspective of how everything works from a non-scripted idea. So I think if I were able to apply that again in a second round, it might be a different outcome.
I am so surprised. I mean, I see the 3 guys, on Raw and 3 guys on SmackDown. I'm like, come on, this is the women's evolution.
Yeah, and you know what? But I feel like that time is not far off.
Yeah.
I really feel like it's not far off, but I also, and this is like a pretty new thing for me, but I feel like it's my spot and I want to take it. I feel like I'm really excited to put in the work.
Yeah.
And try to like hone a craft in that or be somewhat passable in it and grow and learn and figure stuff out. But I feel like if that spot is going to open up and they want to put a female on a desk, I really want it to be me.
You need it. It needs to be you. It absolutely needs to be
really
you. I
want
think
it
that
to
the
be me.
fans would accept it. I think it makes sense. Corey's on 2 of them, so I think that
what
there is
the
a
hell?
spot. So.
The hell, Graves? Is he getting double paid? Then talk to him.
He probably is.
I know.
Charly Caruso.
And my mom would always be terrified. And back then, I wasn't scared. I'll be fine. Now looking back, I'm like,
Wow. How old were you when this was going on?
I was 22.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and like even I remember one time I was doing a story in the middle of the day. It was beautiful outside, sunny, blue sky. And I was doing a story on a community garden, which seems like nothing wrong with it. But I was in a really rough neighborhood, and a cop drives past me. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine."
Why?
Like it's like I said, I'm next to a garden in the middle of the day, and he's like, "Well, you really shouldn't be in this neighborhood by yourself." And it's just like things that I, looking back on, I'm like, wow, but I did it. So there's some extra grit to add to my my resume.
Yeah, but thank God you were okay.
Yeah.
So going back to that murder case, did you find out any information?
On this particular night, no, I think I knocked on some doors and no one wanted to talk to me, which, but there was one other situation where I had to go to a trailer park and there was a woman who had just overdosed on bath salts and died. And they wanted me to go talk to her family, which, that's terrible for anyone to have to go through, but you never know what mental state people are in, post such, a serious trauma like this. And I had no cell reception, and they just sent me to
oh my God.
It was bizarre. So,
wow.
I was there for 8 months. It was a good experience, but I was not upset to get out of there. And then from there, I went on to Kansas City, Missouri, worked as a morning live reporter for 2 years, which was great.
Yeah.
That gave me a lot of live experience, and I got to do really and I was with a photographer every day now too. So, even though we were covering some kind of crazy situations like SWAT scenes and, double homicides, at least I was with someone and surrounded by other people.
You were really covering some of these things?
And it's funny because I actually wanted to be a crime reporter in the beginning. That was what I initially saw me doing in my career. And I minored in criminal justice in college.
Whoa.
So I thought that was what I wanted to do. And then you quickly realize when you start covering it, how just doom and gloom it is. And it just makes you almost desensitized to all this stuff. And you're like, wow, this isn't, I don't think the life that I want to live and the mindset that I want to develop. So from there, I kind of switched gears a little bit and was like, maybe more of a entertainment is more my style.
Matt Hardy. What you and your brother have gone through outside of the ring and, he was talking about hitting rock bottom and then being able to regroup and find himself again. And I watched that Hardy's Woken special on 24, which is on the WWE Network. Guys, if you haven't seen it, I completely 100%, I recommend it. I also am very grateful to the WWE that they allowed something like this that was so real. Whose idea was it, first of all, to do that show?
I'll be honest. I try and be very hands-on whenever I'm going to be in the process of creating content that I'm involved in, and I tried to be very hands-on in that. And the network people, I know they weren't 100%. I was probably worried about the powers to be, say like a Vince McMahon or Kevin, almost like uncomfortable as it really was, because I wanted to be as accurate as possible, and I wanted people. I told Jeff like years back, once we were both in good places and getting better, I said, man, if we ever tell our story, the place we should tell our story is on WWE television or WWE Network, because that's the platform it deserves to be told on. I said, so if we ever tell it there, I said, we need to go all out and, don't hold anything back. And that's what we want to do. We were allowed to do it. And I know Kevin Dunn, actually, from speaking to him and talking to some of the network guys, I know he was a little hesitant at first about putting some of this raw content out there that was so dark and so uncomfortable, but eventually he did. And the feedback to that special was off the chart. And the biggest thing I can say to all people is like, if you can hang in there, if you can keep your chin up and keep moving forward in a positive direction, it'll always get better. You have to want it. You have to want to get better, and you have to want to get to a better place, and you always can. You can always come back. You can always change. Every day is a new day, and it gives you a new opportunity to change and be a better person.
Jeff Hardy.
They were picking us up from school one day, and and she was having bad headaches, and I wasn't old enough to really understand like a bad headache or what might be possible in this scenario, but they got so bad they naturally had to go to the hospital. My dad took her to the hospital, and then we found out, sure enough, it was a brain tumor, and she went through hell, man. And it was our dad. That's why in my phone, his name is Legend Hero. His nickname's The Legend.
Oh, wow.
Everybody calls him around Cameron. And then, he is my hero, Max. He would drop us off at school at like 5 a.m. and do what he had to do with Mama, And he was still working full time on the mail route, After he got full time after farming tobacco, he did mail full time eventually. But oh my gosh, he was amazing. And it was pretty short. I don't think it was 2 years until she passed. I mean, it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it was just, she just got worse and worse. And I'll never forget when she started chemo and she was losing her hair and these visions that are kind of still blurry, but we would go in there and just see her in that shape. And she was so tough, man. She was still just such oh my gosh, an incredible woman and mom, even in that state. But oh my gosh, yeah. And I still every now and then I'll stop by her grave, talk to her, because man, I pray to her every night along with God to protect me out there and this craziness I do. So she's been with me all the way. And we were doing that documentary, actually. I think we're at her grave, the graveyard.
Yeah, I remember you
her
guys
tombstone.
there.
And they asked if we wish she could have seen our success or whatever. And Matt said something that I forget what he said, but I just remember saying, I feel A-okay with her passing, and I believe she's in a better place. I don't mind if she's watching from somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that was just, and I feel that way.
Yeah. Do you feel like, did you take her loss hard? You feel at 9, or were you just too young to understand it all?
I think I was too young. I mean, and we were after she passed, we were in the room, and we went down to the cafeteria. First time I ever seen my dad cry, because he's not the type of guy. He still this day never says "I love you."
Oh, really?
He is hardcore. But yeah, he said he was tears running down his face, and he said, "Boys, we got to move on."
Bobby Roode.
Tell us about your routine.
Well, I think it's similar to routine to a lot of guys, but I mean, I usually, on Monday Night Raw, I fly out for the live events Friday morning and come home Tuesday morning. So Fridays I usually, land and get my car, and I usually have the hotel. I'm very, I have to be organized when I'm on the road. I eat the same thing basically every day.
Really?
And, I'll pack some meals, or I'll have to hit the same restaurants on the road, and
Why?
Yeah.
Why so much
Just,
the routine?
I've always been into working out and
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And now that I've reached my 40s, it's become that much more important to stay in good shape for
Which
what
you
I do.
look amazing, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It's working.
But so yeah, I mean, I just very strict when it comes to eating and stuff. You know, I try to, if I know I'm going to have a late night or a long drive, instead of stopping at a McDonald's, I'll make sure that I pick up some chicken or whatever at the Outback or you know, the Texas Roadhouse or whatever I'm at. You know, before the show, I'll make sure I get a meal after, so I know I'm eating what I need to eat. And so it's just very, very routine. Go to the gym, get up in the morning, do morning cardio. I eat my breakfast. You know, I'll go to the gym and I'll lift, and then I'll eat again, and then if I have to drive, I'll drive. If I'm in town, I'll go back to the hotel, have a nap, get up, eat, and go. So it's just very, very routine.
So what does change represent that you don't like change?
I don't know. I think it's a comfort thing maybe for me, you know. Yeah, I just moved actually. I was living in a home for a couple of years, and then I just bought a new house in May, so it's like opposite end of town, new house, new neighbors, and it took me a little while to kind of get used to that.
Does it bring like anxiety, like you were saying, that social?
No, not really
no,
anxiety. No, it's just have to adapt to just a new surrounding, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very hard to explain, but just I've never been good with change. Yeah. So, and like coming from SmackDown to Raw,
yeah,
that was a little.
That was
weird.
another one, huh?
Just because of the schedule, you know. At
Yeah.
least I knew I was home every Friday night, and then I was leaving Saturday, and where I live, it's a little bit of a drive, like I said, to the airport, and traffic
Right.
isn't great. So Saturday mornings, traffic is pretty easy to get to the airport. Friday mornings,
Right.
a totally different story.
Right.
So now I'm thinking, now I'm going to leave every Friday. Instead of coming home on Wednesdays, I'm going to be home on Tuesday. So do I have to work? And now I'm flipping things around when I'm at home, because I'm very routine when I'm at home as well, too. So just small changes, but I get over it pretty quick.
Ember Moon.
I was a straight A student till my grandfather passed away. And I kind of that's one little semester of whatever. One little report card of I failed a whole bunch of classes, but I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember watching Monday Night Raw, the girls' match came on, and I was on his, I kind of been told that he was fading, but I didn't quite comprehend what was going on.
Yeah.
And we were watching, I was like, you know, just being crazy, fangirl me. And I remember him turning to me and said, "You really love this, don't you?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "You really want to do this, don't you?" I go, "Man, I'd love to do this, but no, I won't be able to do it." He's like, don't let anyone take that away from you. I can see you up there one day." And he goes, you don't listen to anyone else. If that's what makes you happy, you do that. Sorry. And I kind of a couple of weeks later, he passed away. That was the last time I saw him. And oh gosh, sorry.
I'm tearing up too, so don't worry.
I still get
It's pretty
I
heavy.
still can't and he kind of talked me into it, and for a year. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay.
For a year after that, I was just angry. I was so bitter, and it reminded me of being bullied because I didn't have that light. I didn't have I love my grandmother, don't get me wrong, and I went and spent tons of time with her, but there was just something missing. I'd stopped watching wrestling, and because he loved it so much, I felt like I couldn't be happy without him. And that's such a messed up way of thinking about it. Sorry.
No, it's not messed up at all. I can understand that.
Zack Ryder.
The first Ryder I saw was Road Dogg, and I went up to him, I just pleaded my case, and I spilt my guts, and I one line that I said that he said stuck with him, I said, "I've never heard my music play at Mania." And that wasn't even a planned thing, that was just something that came out. Right. And he said later on, he said, "That's what helped get you in that match when you said that to me."
Wow.
Yeah.
So whose idea was it to get you over?
That I don't know. I have no idea how that happened, but I wasn't going to ask who. I wasn't going to ask questions.
When they're sitting there saying, "And by the way, Zack, you're going over,"
I couldn't believe it.
And you're with all the guys,
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't believe it. And this was days before, and I'm thinking this is going to change. This is going to change. This is going to change.
Because things can change.
And then it didn't. And it was
sleep.
It was it wasn't just the greatest night of my career. It was the greatest night of my life. And that might sound cliche. And I don't give a damn. It was. Like when you grow up wanting to do one thing and then you do it.
And you were at WrestleMania.
Right. And then like my dad legitimately hops the barricade. Like that wasn't part of the show either.
wasn't?
No, Ziggler like brought him over and then he slides to the ring. That wasn't part of the show. Yeah.
And your dad didn't know.
No, my dad, I don't tell him. There's no way I'm telling anybody. No way.
Wow.
So like I'm on top of the ladder looking down. I see my dad like wearing a WrestleMania cowboy hat. I'm like, what are you doing in here? You know?
But that made it even more special.
Absolutely, 100%. And I have like a painting of that picture. Rob Schamberger, you know who he is?
Yes.
He painted that image. I have it in my house. That's like my WrestleMania moment, and it was incredible.
Of course it is.
For sure. And then he tried to put that damn WrestleMania cowboy hat on my head. Like, get this off of me. And that, in my parents' house, to this day, I was just there yesterday, in their living room is a Zack Ryder cardboard cutout with like a kid's Intercontinental title on it and that cowboy hat.
Wow.
In the living room.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's a little weird, I think.
No, but that's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so how was it then to lose it the next night?
I had it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Yeah.
If I would have lost it that night, it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
Because I had that moment. It'll live on forever, at least in my mind, you know?
Okay.
And I'm forever grateful for that. Greatest moment of my career and life, 100%. Do I want to have more moments? Absolutely.
Okay.
Am I satisfied with just that? No. But I'm glad, more than glad, that I got that opportunity.
Chasing Glory with Lilian Garcia.
And there you have it, the best of 2018. Those were just some small clips from my guests, my incredible guests this year. And again, thank you to all of them for really opening up their hearts and discussing really tough things that have happened to them. But because they're discussing it, it's helping millions out there. So thank you to all my guests. Guys, that's it. 2018, the chapter is closed. 2019 is here. Happy New Year, because it is going to be an incredible new year. I just wish the best for all of you. Remember to be kind to yourselves. If for some reason your resolutions don't pan out by week 2, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't sit there and wait till the following year to then start all over again. No, you get right back up and you start again. But remember to arm yourself with knowledge, with people that can help you. Go this year and do something different. Start taking some seminars, some masterminds, read empowering books every single day, at least read 30 minutes. Take care of yourself, feed your body good things. Now, like I said, moderation, you can have fun from time to time. It just means not every single day do you get to eat some cake. Not every day. I really want to thank my sponsor for this show, because without them, the show doesn't come to you for free. So we really want to take care of our sponsors because they support Chasing Glory, so we support them. And for this show, Four Sigmatic really stepped up. I want to thank Four Sigmatic because they've really been a sponsor now for a while now, and they are amazing. I love supporting a product that I love. Yeah, I'm throwing the word around love a lot because I really do. I told you guys it's coffee, it's elixirs, it's hot cacao, it's mochas, it's chai lattes, it's yummy, it's good for you. You don't taste the mushroom in it. You just get the really good stuff that mushroom does for your body. So go ahead and start 2019 on the right track. Trust me, I've had friends that have tried this and they're like, man, thank you for telling me all about it. So to get the discount, once again, just go to foursigmatic.com/glory. That's foursigmatic.com/glory. That is 15% off. So thank you, Four Sigmatic. So a reminder that big things are coming for Chasing Glory in 2019. I am working my butt off and my team is working their butts off. I want to thank my team. They're incredible. I want to thank James in the UK, Evan Polisher, George Hermosa, Waylon Myers, and also Oliver Drennan. I mean, these guys they're incredible because they have helped me every step of the way. I can't do the show by myself. So it is my team that is helping this get out to the next level. So thank you to my team. You are so wonderful. I really, really appreciate you. And to you guys, my CG squad out there, you're part of this team. You are on the CG squad, the Chasing Glory train. Thank you. I love you dearly. Make sure you go out there and live with much peace, love, and passion. And above all, remember to always be yourself and trust that it's enough. Happy New Year, everyone.
Thanks for joining us here on Chasing Glory from executive producer Lilian Garcia. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends and be sure to subscribe at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your favorite shows.